We got to get that theme song. You can't hear it, but the Cyborg USA theme song's going on. And that's only going to mean one thing, that you've got your set tuned to the Splendopia Hour, live, the hottest 60 minutes of programming today, dedicated to all things on the independent comic book scene. We've got two great guests for you tonight. First up, we're going to be talking with Ben Fuselier, telling us about Outlaw Knights, Genesis of a Renegade, his independent project. Then we're going to swing all the way over to London and speak with Michael and Carolyn Anden from Double Vision Comics to tell us all about Mortal Worlds. That's what I'm trying to say. Me, I'm just your humble narrator, Anton Belvedere, but let me send it over to the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy live from Splendopia Studios. There he is, Robert Cacy. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Anton, I blew it. I blew the Cyborg USA theme song again.
The Cyborg, we really got to get that production assistant.
Well, so you're supposed to press a button, and I hit the button. I didn't hit the button at the beginning. I just, oh, now you're muted.
Muted. Now I'm back.
Did you mute yourself accidentally?
We must have. We are just having technical.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
We're back. We're back.
It's so anxiety-inducing.
We're back television. Already. Live television, everybody. Yeah. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it.
How are you doing? Are you having a good Mother's Day? How's that?
Having a great Mother's Day so far.
Mama Belvedere.
Yeah. Have you talked to Mom?
No, I haven't talked to Mom.
No, yeah, I talked to Mama Belvedere earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's down in Johannesburg on a vacation.
Oh.
Yeah, the seventh husband just takes her everywhere. It's amazing.
Wow, are they safari then, huh?
I think so. Yes, they're going to do some safari today. You got to hit the big 6 or big 7 animals when you get to Africa. I don't know if you've heard that. That's a thing.
No, we talked about it. I think I'm against hunting. I mean, I'm for hunting for food, but not for trophy.
Well, no, not hunting, but viewing on safari.
Oh,
viewing on safari.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
just doing a little view on.
I thought your mom was poaching.
No. After she got caught, she's on probation. She can't do that anymore. So they stopped doing that.
Well,
they stopped doing that.
So
Became vegetarians for a bit.
Yeah.
Alas.
Happy Mother's Day to her.
Anyway. Happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to Mama Cacy, of course.
I know. I got to talk to her. My sister just had a baby, so it's her first Mother's Day.
Congratulations.
So she's probably dying. I think she's socially isolated from the new baby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
I also socially isolated my kids from my mom.
Well, I mean, you're socially isolated from your kids every day, so it doesn't really matter.
Why don't we bring in Ben and talk about Ben's project?
You mean Ben Fuselier?
Well, that's right.
Let me play some music. Let me get him out here.
All right.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
It's Ben Fuselier. The Fusebox, you can call him. That's BOXX. He's the writer and creator of Outlaw Knights, Genesis of a Renegade. There he is.
Woo! Yeah.
Thanks for coming,
man. Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, we're really getting the kinks ironed out of this show.
I'm getting the kinks ironed out of my life. So,
when does that ever stop?
I popped up your project on screen. I can kind of hear a feedback. So, like, if you can cut that out.
Oh,
it sounds like it's gone now. The campaign just launched like a week ago, right? Where are we at? 22 days left, so it was like 1 week. So you're at 1850, and I've seen you like on a bunch of streams. I tried to have you. You were already booked, so I brought you on for our second show. And I know it's like your second stab at this with Outlaw Knights. And I don't know what tell the audience about it. Tell us what's going on.
Well, let's see. You mean you want me to talk about the book itself, or just what's going on in general?
Let's watch the movie. Let's watch the movie, Rob.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Can we do that?
Well, I didn't. So I didn't do the sound again. I think.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, you're supposed to click like share audio.
And I'm guessing, Ben, your photo is either you or that's Ivory, infamous pirate captain.
Oh, that's me right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
as Ivory, the infamous pirate captain.
I'm gonna hit it. We're gonna play the video.
Okay.
Let's check it out. Oops. Yeah, right.
There you go. Beautiful. I'm into it. Love the colors. Love that logo. Love that logo. Great. Little space pirates we're having. That's nice. Oh, that was Ivory. Okay. All right. So Ivory, space pirate, obviously more than the Kurt Russell vein than the Jack Sparrow pirate.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I would Kurt Russell on the off the picture.
He's kind of like a half Hispanic Kurt Russell.
Okay.
Best way I can put that.
Okay.
And I think he's a little more witty than Kurt Russell. But that's just me.
I
don't know if you ever saw Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, that's
it's been a while.
I should watch it every year. I'm going to give a shout out to the chat right now. We got Dosito saying, hail Comicsgate, hail War Campaign, hail Carolyn Anden. She's our next guest with Michael Anden coming up here in a minute. Delta Spurg Force. Testify HD is asking for his money. I don't know who's got it.
Wow, lots of exciting chats going on there.
And we got another shout out for Synthwave, which crosses over with Comicsgate well.
Excellent.
Tell
us about the book, Fusebox.
Well, let's see. This is going to kick off the Outlaw Knights saga, Genesis of a Renegade. Right now, we're at 25 pages. The original book was about 50, and unfortunately, I had to cut it in half to make the goal reasonable. It's all money related. I was caught between a rock and a hard place. But my ultimate hope is that we can hit a 10K stretch goal to bring this baby back to the full 50 pages. But either way, those other 25 pages are going to be told. If I have to extend the series, I will. But essentially, this story takes place in the 31st century, 1,000 years from now.
All right.
Humanity has begun colonizing into outer space. It's not advanced in the way you would think of like a Star Trek or a Star Wars. This is very much a new frontier time period. Settlements are pretty well far between each other. There's usually about one settlement per planet. And the nations of Earth are at each other's throats, competing over territory and resources. So it's very chaotic right now. And in the midst of all this is our main character, Cyrus Lawson, who is a security guard on a very small remote colony that has no strategic value whatsoever. This colony is called Therese. And he essentially moved here to get away from it all. He's had a very traumatic upbringing, and he's really tired of the absurdity of all the political nonsense. He just wants his own little slice of the universe. I would say small town justice is his ultimate hope. But this is pretty much ripped from under him pretty quickly, as the pirates of the ship known as Hazard are holding up an art gala where there's this computer in that building that has a special piece of data that will lead them to a treasure that will turn the entire century on its head. So in the midst of all this, our boy Cyrus is kidnapped by said pirates. So now he is going to have to face his own personal prejudices towards pirates and criminals and the like, as well as redefine his entire sense of right and wrong.
Wow. Well, that
awesome.
He's got a Rob. Let's take a peek at the cover. I think you got the cover on the page or on your YouTube page. I always like to go through the characters on the cover.
Oh, absolutely.
All the way back up here. There you go.
I'm going to do my get right. I think that's Ivory right there in the center with the glowing eye.
Absolutely.
You are correct. Right underneath him is going to be Cyrus, our hero security guard.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Who else do we have there?
Let's see. To the right of Ivory, the boy pouring a drink right there. That is Serpent, and he is the quartermaster of the ship, and he is also the crew's resident con man. And I can tell you that this issue is definitely most of the interactions that Cyrus has in this issue are with Serpent. And to the left of Ivory is Kodiak. Kodiak is sort of in charge of both attack and defense of the ship. He's very much, sort of he rallies the squad, if you will, and I would say he trusts at first, but he's got a very compelling backstory that I'm not going to get into.
Don't give away.
Yeah. And then below him is Code, and she is sort of the resident hacker / she uploads viruses to mainframes and whatnot, helps keep the law off their backs. And as you can see,
she might have had a virus or two in her time.
I think she looks great. She's like my type of character, honestly.
Totally a badass.
Yeah,
exactly. Look at that minigun on there.
Yeah, I love the minigun. I love the character design. And then what is that kind of creature? The lizard like thing?
Oh, that's one of the aliens that's native to the planet that Therese is on. Essentially, I just wanted to show how we are going to have aliens in this saga, but they're not going to be intelligent. They're all going to be animals, instinct-based life forms.
Cool.
And,
so all the characters that are human based, like everybody ultimately is from Earth.
Yes.
Originally.
Yes. Or they're descended from Earth.
Right. 1,000 years ago. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the tiers you have available? We'll go over there.
Well,
like the side.
I can tell you.
Sorry, there's like 2 more characters on the cover too, I guess.
Oh well, yeah. That's that's not really a character behind Bit. That's not
the Punisher bald.
That's whoever you want it to be.
Yeah. All right.
But that's a Bit who's in front of the control panel there, and he is another tech guy. Only he's very new to the ship and he's very incompetent.
Okay. Comic relief, you'd say, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more going on there that I'm not gonna,
I always like to get a quick who these characters are that we get to see such great pictures and drawings of.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's who we're like buying into, like on the space adventure. Like who are our guides along the way?
Right.
And this is definitely a character-based story. Like it's not so much plot driven as it is character driven.
It's fun. I was a big fan of like Buck Rogers in the 80s, in the 25th century, I guess.
Yes.
And that was I don't know. It's just like these kinds of stories like remind me of those like settings, those worlds.
Remember Beady, his little robot guy?
Yeah, Tweaky.
Tweaky?
Yeah, Tweaky was voiced by Mel Blanc, and then they couldn't afford him for season 2. And like everybody complained.
Beady. Anybody could do that, right? Okay.
Well, yeah, it was mostly Beady.
The great Mel Blanc. I mean, God rest his soul,
No, but then every once in a while he'd crack wise. He'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, Buck." Or whatever. Was that pretty good? Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. My favorite are those Buck Rogers when Buck is like, "Oh my God, I have to get home." right? And then and then he's like over it, and he's like, actually, I can make this work.
Yeah,
it's good work.
Well, I'll go down the rabbit hole talking about Buck Rogers because I love Aaron Gray and Buck Rogers, and I love that his like best friend is what's his name?
Lauren
God.
Green.
Oh,
No.
shoot.
No. The kid that's not Emmanuel Lewis, right?
Oh, he's not Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah.
He's not Gary Coleman.
It's Gary Coleman.
It's Gary Coleman?
Yeah, Gary Coleman is like his friend. He's like the president, and he's like from Buck Rogers' time, and he's like his only friend in that show. Like he's only like the only guy. Are you enjoying this, Ben? I told you we go like down the forever.
Well, Ben, I hope you like Buck Rogers.
I like listening, even though I've never really seen Buck Rogers, so I've got no clue.
Wow.
They play it on one of the cable channels that I have every weekend.
Oh damn.
Let's talk about the perks though, so you can tell us what people can get into on this.
Well, I could tell you that the first 4 perks are very simplistic. The biggest thing was like I've been keeping
not a salesman much, Ben, are you?
Well, it's also the fact that I've been keeping my ear to the ground. I've been watching a lot of campaigns, and I just noticed that a lot of the campaigns that tend to struggle with delays and stuff, it's because I tend to notice like they promise so many extras, and it's like, since this is my first book and everything, and I'm still learning, I want to reduce the amount of delays as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure that my number one priority is getting this book done and out to the backers. So the first 4 perks are pretty much just, get a physical copy, get 2 physical copies, get 3, get 4, along with a digital preview for people to have ahead of time. But our last 2 perks, that's where we get fancy. For our last 2 perks, you can get the book plus an original page of art from Render himself. Render is normally a digital artist, and he personally volunteered to do 10 pages by hand specifically for this perk.
That's cool.
So,
wow.
Everyone's going to want to get in on this. We've already got 2 sold, and I'm so excited about that. And
so on my book Cyborg USA, Pablo works digital too, and he didn't do any pages for me, so good for you. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome that you can offer
markers. Like what he like literally took markers or paint
well, some artists would still work with pencils and inks, and some just work digitally.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I was, the fact that he volunteered that, I was like, hey, we're doing it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great tier.
And the last tier is the one that I think more people should be into. Is that's the one where you not only get the book, but you also get to be in the book. We have 10 slots available, and it's depending on the order you back, you'll have your pick of the litter. If you're the first one to back this, you'll be able to be a pirate or an art gala patron or a security team member. And I mean, you've seen the way these characters all look. You're going to look badass in this book. So,
Yeah.
That's cool. That's like a popular item. When we with my campaign, you could cyborgize yourself, and so you were drawn as a character, but Pablo just drew you as a character. You weren't like in the book or anything like that. So I think obviously being in the book is more popular.
Oh, I think, it's just a great incentive. Like when I first heard of people doing that, I thought that was just the best idea I had ever heard,
It's a fun way to like memorialize your like contribution to the project.
Absolutely. And, and it's like here in CG and whatnot, like, really it's the customers are the number one, they're the ones who make it happen. And so it's like, it's good to show them some love and show them some honor. It's like they are integral to creating this as much as anyone on my team was.
Definitely. Well, that's cool. I hope guys jump in on that. We're about 20 minutes into the show, so let's bring in our other guests.
Please, I'm sorry. I just have one more.
Yeah. Oh, you got one question?
One more question. I just wanted to ask again about who did the coloring? What was his name? Rendon?
Oh no, our colorist is Prasad Patinaik, also Press Colors.
Okay.
And he's a colorist who operates out of India, and he was recommended to me through Sierra Whiskey. And just like I gave him a sample page because at that time I had another colorist lined up, and I was just curious. So I was like, well, let me see what he does with one page. And when I got that page back, I was like, yeah, no, this is my colorist, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks great, and so then Render Contender did the art.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great. It looks great. It looks very great. Sorry, Robert. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I just hopefully Ben is cool. We're gonna bring in Michael Anden and Carolyn Anden from Double Vision Comics. Anton Belvedere, would you like to introduce them?
You know it. You know. Hey, here we go. Let's get a little music. I'm so excited to bring out our first ever husband and wife comic book creating duo, all the way from London, England. It's Michael and Carol Anden from Double Vision Comics to tell us all about Mortal World.
Hey,
Here they are.
Yay.
Hey, great music.
it's turned into an episode of Mr. and Mrs.
Oh wow.
Great music though.
You.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a work in
Okay,
progress.
Jason.
The show's a work in progress.
Thank you.
So we're getting.
Thanks for having us on. Hi all.
Sorry.
You good, Ben?
Yeah, there's like we're jumping into each other on the delay, I guess, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll just pace it out. We'll take it easy.
I thought Michael was going to give you a Heil.
Oh, no, I think a hail. He was gonna give me a hail. Yeah, not a hail.
Not a Heil. Hail.
No, we don't do the hails.
Hail Splendopia.
Hail Splendopia. Thank you. That's my other name. I'm trying to get the screen up here.
Well,
So
I
we
mean,
can
I'm
watch.
also excited in Ben's book, one of the characters on the video, it says the British Army of the 31st century sure takes a different look. So I'm in Michael and Carolyn's take on what Her Majesty's forces would look like in 1,000 years.
So you guys are launching
Renegade.
tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's come this quick, but yeah,
Oh
we're
wow.
ready to go.
That's great. So
Ready.
this is going to be your big launch tomorrow. You got everybody can jump on Mortal Worlds. This will go from like a preview page to like a campaign page.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you like to talk about it before I play the video? Would you like me to play the video?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say a little bit about it. So yeah, this is kind of like pure science fantasy, really. It's not much hard science fiction in it. It's fast, furious fun. It's kind of a stripped down premise, really. It's about this guy. He's a super soldier. He's one of the first of the batch were created to protect this planet, ostensibly from space pirates, because this planet has been fighting over a precious new resource, a power source that the whole kind of galaxy is going nuts over. It's enabled interstellar flight, hyper jumps, that kind of business. But they've also found that it can power beings. It can power people can tap into it and become, through rage or extreme emotions of some kind. You can become a super soldier if you've got the kind of stomach for it. But there's this other being who has come into the fray, who is ultimately the person who is the owner of this power source, isn't too happy about civilizations have been tapping into it. And he's here to hunt whoever is considered to be the kind of the main usurper, if you like, who's this guy, Cade Saiga, our main character. And Cade's just been basically protecting his planet from space pirates. That's been his main kind of goal, and to protect his family. But now this kind of being has come along who is threatening their entire world, their entire universe, really. And apparently he's just a harbinger as well, this being. There's a whole legion who are coming in after him. So he's just here to kind of like take out the trash before the main owners of the universe come back and said, yeah, actually this power source is ours, and all you people have come after us. They're like the dark gods. They're going to come back and take ownership of the universe, and they're going to take out everybody. So his plate's kind of full, but he's got some friends who are going to try and help him hold the line a little bit.
Yeah, don't give too much away though.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
No spoiler.
Well, that was great. I'm going to
Hit that video.
Yeah, I've got to do it again. I got to do it again because I have to press that button. Isn't that? Aren't I a ninny?
I make that No, I do that all the time. Yeah. All the time.
Well, it's my, it's our third broadcast. So
I'll just flip while you're getting that. Here we go. Here it is, everybody.
Right, we got it.
Video.
All right, I'm playing it.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, that looks great.
Oh wow.
Yeah, very nice. Wow, these characters look just great. It's amazing. Great hand modeling work too. Oh, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Somebody got a Manny before that video. I can tell. I can tell.
Oh wow.
Well, looks great. Launches today.
All right, that's great. Yeah, launches today. Good job. So that's the
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Right.
Monday.
So that's the proof copy that you guys got for the for the book, obviously.
Yeah.
Awesome. And tell us about your process working together. Like I can imagine like working with my wife on a comic book, and I wouldn't do that. But I love working with Anton Belvedere here. So that's
That's true. We are not. Hey, Dosutu, that's a great comment. That's our next project. Rob, do you see that? They think we should work together on a buddy cop.
I did. They also said the colors are amazing, which I agree.
Do look amazing.
Thank you, Dosutu.
I love those characters, like just the how those characters look. Like they bring me, I don't know, G.I. Joe, Contra, like great kind of 80s, rugged. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, like a really nice blend between sort of a retro style and a modern style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like the end result of a kind of misspent youth. Really, I was always been fully immersed in all that amazing stuff, like
Oh,
Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and Star Wars, Flash Gordon,
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, and of course, the Marvel comics and stuff of my kind of era. So this is like, 80s and early 90s when it was all about character and action. So I really wanted to kind of try and pay homage, but maybe update things a little bit with the coloring, the process. I don't know if you guys ever
and the
heard
concepts as well, particularly the ships and things.
Yeah.
Really unique.
Yeah, try and create a world here which is where everything has its own unique look. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's always kind of like when you're trying to share out your final work to everybody, you can always see, I wish that guy added this little design or something. You can be a bit perfectionist.
A bit perfectionist. Yeah. When you say working together, there are times when I just had to say, stop.
Yeah.
He would still be working on it. He would still be working. It would never be launched if he had his way.
Yeah. She's entirely right.
Well, how long,
long
I've got a
nights,
problem.
I think.
how long have you
Yeah,
two
just
been
a
together?
long
How long
night.
have you two been married?
Married about 10 years.
Okay.
But we've been together 20.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and we've kind of always
Damn.
batted around ideas about what we'd like to see in kind of comics and movies and novels, because we're a big fan of all the kind of genres of science fiction and paranormal stuff.
Cryptids.
Yeah, we're into UFO stories and cryptids and all this kind of stuff. And we just always thought, wouldn't it be amazing to just kind of create a story which is a kind of collision of all of these things, but into something coherent. So it's not just kind of them fighting over each other.
It's coherent chaos, really.
Yeah, coherent chaos. It's a collision of chaos. But but how it came out was pretty much how we envisaged. It's
in the end,
yeah.
There's a lot of work though.
I mean, this art style. Oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say this art style really conveys that like chaos and like collision and conflict. It's like very very stylish, and the colors are like really vibrant. I'm sorry to cut you off, Carolyn.
Yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. It actually took me quite a long while to develop the palettes that I was using there, because I mean I'm a big fan of also painters like Simon Bisley, but also I don't know if you remember Liquid Colors, who did a lot of work for I think Marvel and Image in the 90s. They had a very distinctive style, and I wanted to do something that was like it, but maybe a spin-off of all of that. Maybe how they'd be working now if they were still. I think they moved off into video games and stuff, and even Simon Bisley's stuff looks pretty different now than how he originally was when I was most into his work, like in the early 90s. And so I just kind of thought to myself, well, if they kind of stuck to, what they were doing then, but just maybe like tweaked it a little, how would it look now if they were coloring my work? If I could afford those guys, to help, I would have done it. But what you see now is, the necessity being the mother of invention, which is kind of, we had to do this ourselves. So it seems okay. Like Helter Down Marshall, by the way, thank you.
Yeah, Dan Marshall's a great guy.
Great to see you. Yeah.
Great to see everybody here. Thank you.
I'm going to give a special hail out to Call Me Mark too, because he recommended I reach out to you guys about being on the show.
Hey,
so.
Mark.
Oh, hey, thank you. Hail, Call Me Mark.
Yeah,
and
Call Me Mark.
Captain F-Head, who did the video for us.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't forget Captain F-Head.
Yeah,
he did an amazing job on that.
Yeah. Captain, also known as Captain Fuckhead, Anton. You should meet these guys, especially Call Me Mark. I think you'd like Call Me Mark.
Call Me Mark and Fuckhead Mike.
Captain Fuckhead.
Captain Fuckhead.
Yeah,
pardon me.
Yeah, they're also both English.
I don't like to step on anyone's rank. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're amazing fun.
Yeah, they are good.
It's been amazing.
How many books or projects have you two done together? Lots?
This is the first. This is our first outing together.
Yeah,
we've kind of worked on kind of small short stories and stuff together, but over time we kind of decided this is the main thing we wanted to do, because we realized it was going to be quite a big undertaking. We kind of figured instead of doing little bits and pieces here and there, which I guess we could have done to build up experience, we just figured, the hell with it. Let's just, let's get what we really want out there, and everybody can see, what we really our passion is. So this is our passion project, really.
Particularly when Marvel changed, though, and we started not seeing what we wanted to see out there, and the Star Wars thing as well. The latest Star Wars films. I think that really kind of.
God!
I was so looking forward to when I heard that Lucasfilm was kind of be doing new Star Wars films. I think everyone was pretty excited back in 2012. Nobody knew what would be happening, but I guess we assumed that George Lucas's treatments would be used for episodes 7, 8, and 9, and I guess we all know what happened after that. So this is maybe there's even a little bit of what we kind of were hoping we'd be seeing.
Right.
Well, yeah. So I actually just finally saw Rise of Skywalker last night.
Okay.
Anton, have you seen Rise of Skywalker?
I have. I saw that over the Christmas holiday with my family.
Yeah.
I refused because after Last Jedi, it was like, to me, Star Wars is done. It's like there's nowhere left to go after Last Jedi.
Right. They really found, they were like, what character has already died that we can bring out? Let's get one last curtain call. We're like, oh, Carrie Fisher died 25 years ago. We're going to wheel her out. Harrison Ford was killed 2 movies ago. We bring him out again, right? Everybody. All we needed was Ewoks and Jar Jar Binks, and we could have really wrapped this whole thing up. But who am I to say?
Yeah, no, Hughes is right. It was just a travesty, really.
Right.
Well, bringing Lando back, I didn't. Were they thinking that this is what the audience will kind of lap up? This is something that is going to be the perfect apology for any disappointment in the past. Because I think that most of us were hoping by the end of Last Jedi that maybe they were just going to rethink everything and just just bin the whole concept, because realized nobody wanted to see the progression of this sequel trilogy. It was kind of failed. But of course they had to stick to their guns in terms of producing the final chapter, and the reaction they got is, I'm sure, really secretly the reaction they were expecting, which is like everyone just didn't care, because it's the end of an era already. It was the end of an era in
People
2017.
were mad, I think.
Yeah, and people were ready to move on to different things because they're not the right caretakers for Star Wars. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the property from appearances. So people kind of vote with their wallets.
That's what they care about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just loving it. Testify. He says Jar Jar Binks should be given an Oscar.
in retrospect.
Testify, HD. Testify.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was over like Luke Skywalker, kind of like how they characterize Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Like it just ruined Star Wars for me, and that's why I didn't watch the last movie until now.
Well, he's just like a grumpy old hermit living on his island.
Yeah, like for me it was like like his arc, like through the first 3 films, or the first 3 films is like I experienced him as a kid. Like I remember how dope it was that summer in Return of the Jedi. I was like 6 years old or 5 years old, and it's like he's grown up. He's a man. He learned his Jedi skills. Like he walks in there and he's like doing the Jedi mind trick, and he's got his own lightsaber, and he is dope. He's and then like by the end of the movie, like Darth Vader redeems himself, and he's like, it's like he's just this honorable guy. Like he's just like proven like his honor and his skill and his ability, and to turn him into like just kind of like a drunken asshole. It's like I hate that.
Yeah, he went from being the most optimistic character to being the most nihilistic character, and we didn't get to see any real progression with that.
Yeah, the only progression was like the flashback where he almost killed his nephew, which I didn't think that made any sense. And then this like the whole movie yesterday, Rise of Skywalker, it was like when you said Lando, I think that those movies are made like on a whiteboard by committee, and they're just throwing up like, what's everything that we need to see in this? Like what's the ideal, theme park ride experience of this movie? Yeah.
It's almost like you could have gotten AI to just write the whole thing.
Well, they probably did.
Right. And it just ends up being like totally lifeless and like, the stuff like C-3PO, like my son was like, why did they like have to wipe his memory? Like, that's totally stupid. Like they could have just figured something else out. Like, why'd they kill C-3PO? It's like,
we needed a dramatic moment.
Right.
No, that's Anthony Daniels wanted like a dramatic sacrifice for his character, which is like, who cares? It's fucking C-3PO. He's supposed to like say stupid things and like bumble around and like be scared,
Not have a dramatic arc.
Yeah, not like a dignified sacrifice.
Yeah.
He's supposed to like, save me, no, get me too. And they're like, whatever, who cares? Fuck, it's 3PO,
It seemed to be all of these moments that were supposed to be so dramatic, like when we were supposed to think that Chewbacca had been blown up in the ship, and when Rey was in the cave and had to save him from the giant snake.
Yep. Oh god.
It was all these kind of moments that were kind of so redolent of other movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark and stuff like that. But those were done with such a sense of tension. And here we just get the sense that it was just like a paint by the numbers. Oh, audiences, they like that scene, didn't they? And they like this scene.
Yeah.
Let's try and recreate that without actually having anything of their own ideas or their own passion for the project.
I got a lot of
that sense, it really was paint by the numbers.
Yeah, I got a lot of Harry Potter out of it too, like Harry Potter, and I guess there's some Lord of the Rings and whatever, Mad Max,
maybe some Twilight,
maybe a little
Twilight, a little Arthur maybe have been in there. Some Gump.
It was more like a YA novel in so many respects, I think.
But you guys, let's go back to your project. So we'll talk about something that we like.
Well, my favorite question to ask comic book folks, Rob.
Yeah.
It's who's your least favorite comic book character?
My least favorite. I've got so many that I love. It never even occurred to me that there's one that I don't love. I'm not gonna bring up one of the kind of more recent creations, like America Chavez or Miss Marvel, because Kamala Khan, because I think those have their own kind of recent baggage. But for a character that I think didn't carry much weight for me, I don't know if I can cite a group rather than but the New Mutants, when that was first introduced. Now, these were supposed to be, I thought that these were supposed to be people taking over from the X-Men. And when I first read them, I thought, oh no, what they're going to try and do, they're going to usurp, the X-Men, some of my favorite characters at the time, with these teenagers. Is this going to be like a passing of the torch? Are they going to kill off, Wolverine and Colossus and Kitty Pryde and these guys? In the end, they didn't do that at all, and they actually became favorite characters of mine. But I remember a time when I thought, oh, I can see what's going to happen with these characters. I don't have any affinity for them at all. I know that they recently made a movie with the New Mutants, which I don't think ever got released. I think because there might have been kind of copyright issues with Marvel and was it, I think, 20th Century Fox.
Right. So it was meant to be like it was meant to be like a horror film, and then I think they repackaged it and re-edited it, and then it got caught in the crunch between Disney buying Fox, and so it's probably, as far as everybody tells, it's probably like, something we'll not ever see. But I just bought all the New Mutants in a graphic like trade paperback. I didn't read them until like the end as a kid. Like I read the last run with Cable, but I'm kind of looking forward to reading that run now that like time has passed.
Yeah.
Thinking about mine, I don't know if you've ever heard of a story called Slonya, but it was Slonya's sidekick Uko.
You pronounce it properly. Yeah, I still call it Slain. This is a character from I don't know if you heard of a comic from the UK called 2000 AD.
Okay, I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time now. But Judge Dredd, I guess, is the main character.
Right, of course.
But it's a kind of an anthology comic. And one of the it used to be really good, but now it's become pretty progressive in its own right. But that's another story. But there's this fantasy, kind of like a Conan the Barbarian type story with lots of swords and battle axes and magic, and some of that fantastic creatures. So that was certainly one of the things that ticked all the boxes for me. I still read it from time to time, but he has a companion, called Ukko the Dwarf. So, Carolyn, you're saying that you're not a big fan of Ukko the Dwarf?
No, I'm not. He reminds me of Salacious Crumb in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. He's very, he's kind of like, he thinks with his stomach and other stuff rather than his brain, and he's kind of like a bit like, I suppose Salacious Crumb is the best example, but actors in Star Trek who are kind of, they're really into money, they're acquisition focused.
The Ferengi.
They don't care. Ferengi, yeah.
Ferengi.
So he doesn't care about anyone but his, about his purse, about what he can drink and what he can spend, and he's always getting pulled up. He's always
I can read his mind.
But he's actually I get why you wouldn't like him, but at the same time, he's a really well realized character.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's a lot of fun.
It's a hard question. It's a really good question. That.
Yeah.
Well, Carolyn, were you always into comic books, or did Michael get you into them?
I was when I was really, really young, because my brother always had 2000 AD, and I think he had Battle Chasers as well, and another war comic. And I never really liked.
I think it was just called Battle, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Battle Chasers came a bit later.
Yeah. I love 2000 AD, so I was into it when I was young, and then I kind of drifted out when I was at university, and then when I met Mike.
When she met me, one of the first things I got her into, I think, was Preacher and Invisibles.
I love Invisibles.
So I think that's when she discovered that there was more to comics, maybe than just what she grew up reading. That there was Vertigo, when they were doing stories with a bit more meat, a bit more substance that you could really explore, and it could get all the cogs turning. You're thinking, what are the possibilities? I didn't realize that comics are capable, of talking about, just about anything, that the mind can come up with.
Yeah.
So, for a good long while, there were publishers like Vertigo at their peak. There was definitely a lot to read there that you kind of figured, this is the future of comics. They can be both commercially viable and challenging. In the end, though, I think that other things took hold, which kind of saw, the kind of like the demise. They tried to resurrect Vertigo, but in a different way. But now I think that people are coming up. They've read all of these things, and independent creators, they've kind of thought about what worked, what didn't work, what's popular, but also what can bring audiences, new audiences.
Also, what they would love to read, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we tried to do with Mortal Worlds. Something that we'd really like to read ourselves, and hopefully other people feel the same.
Yeah.
That was very much with Cyborg USA. That's my comic. That's like what I kind of like North Star. It's like exactly like that.
Ditto Outlaw Nights.
And Outlaw Nights. See, I think that what we're doing now is, I feel like it's like we're frontiersmen. We're creating a new industry where everybody gets to have a say directly to the customer, and that's the kind of the main impetus now. It's the customers can actually feed back to you immediately, like in real time, have fun with you, and if you're open to it, they can actually tell you, this is the kind of stuff we want to see. This is what you're not necessarily co-creating the book with the audience, but they're feeding back in a way that you can act on immediately. You can say, oh yeah, I think this could work, or maybe I'll try that another time. But certainly it's always to be welcomed. It's not something to be feared. The audience, they're on your side. They want to buy. It's just a case of actively listening and engaging with them.
Absolutely. Well, that's what's so exciting about the internet and Indiegogo and all these projects. It allows you all, these kind of creative, independent comic book geniuses, to come out and do something and do kind of whatever you want to do. And you're not forced to just go to the bookstore and buy whatever crap Marvel or DC is selling to you. Mm-hmm. You're creating it for yourself. It's nice.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about said, Anton? Well said.
Thank you, Robert. How about you, Fusebox? Who really grinds your gears when you see him in the page?
I can say that pretty much anytime I see a character, whether they be hero or villain, that kind of mimic character that I know of, that always works my nerves. Like, I don't like Black Cat from Marvel because she's too much like Catwoman, stuff like that. But if I had to pick like a specific character that I dislike, I really don't like the Mad Hatter from Batman.
Oh yeah,
I think because I hate that concept of like they literally just took another story's character and just kind of repurposed it, and it's like, come on, like you can do better than that, like.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
How do you feel? So you don't like Man-Thing, right?
No.
You know Man-Thing, Anton?
No, what's Man-Thing?
Man-Thing is DC's Swamp Thing.
Oh.
But he has like a trunk like an elephant.
Like an elephant?
Yeah, but it's like otherwise he's just Swamp Thing.
Okay.
It's Marvel.
Dear God.
That is awful. I like Swamp Thing done properly.
I actually like the look of Man-Thing.
Or Marvels. Yeah, that's right. Marvels.
I don't mind that. I'm not in the legal business, so I don't mind the fact that it's a kind of a swipe from Swamp Thing. I like them both. They can both work, I think. But yeah, I totally get what Ben's saying.
Yeah.
That sometimes, just show credit to the creators. Don't just literally just lift off somebody else's creation like they did with the Mad Hatter. And well, you know what though, what he said about Black Cat, it never even occurred to me that she was even inspired by Catwoman. Now I can't see any other way. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, and it's like there's so many good ideas still out there. I mean, we talked about Star Wars. We can talk about Outlaw Knights. We can talk about Mortal Worlds, right? 3 kind of separate, we'd call them space cowboy kind of stories. Yeah. Right. And you look at the art, you look at the pictures, there's 3 completely different stories, 3 completely different groups of characters. And it's just really kind of a testament to both Michael and Carolyn and you, Ben's creativity and coming up with this stuff. It's amazing. And it looks gorgeous.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you. That means a lot.
No, it's for us, it's a dream come true to be able to create this stuff because, for so long we've admired everybody else. And, we knew there wouldn't necessarily be a kind of like a magic formula. You just got to kind of put in the work if you want to see, to realize your own version of that. And yeah, people like us, people like Ben, we love these worlds and we want everybody to kind of share them with us because, we're so excited about them. And there's nothing better than being able to have fun with others, being able to
enjoy stuff.
Cross over. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you were saying earlier about how you guys basically said that you all wanted to create a comic that you wanted to read. It's like that is the best attitude in my opinion. Like it's like that's really what it's about. It's like you write for yourself first and then everything else kind of falls into place.
Well, it definitely was like it was a dream come true for me too in Cyborg USA. That's exactly how I felt. These are characters that I'd thought about for a long time, and getting them into books and getting them into people's hands was like really gratifying. And I know you guys are going to feel the same way when your campaign launches. When you guys get these all sold and the campaign is successful.
Oh yeah, so. Real excited to get going with it. I was going to say about Cyborg USA that I know that the theme song may have had some kind of influence on me with it, but I almost need to see this as a Saturday morning cartoon now.
We'll do our best. We'll try to make it happen.
No pressure.
Long-term goals. But for now, people can still get them on Indiegogo. So here's issue number 1, issue number 2 from the Cannon White cover, so you guys can go to Indiegogo. Cyborg USA for a little while longer. We'll be selling copies, but not too much longer because we're almost sold out. So, nice.
And we'll have to discuss volume 3, I guess, right, Rob? Or
that's what? Right. That's right. We're working on trying to figure out a plan for issue 3. So,
heck yeah,
it'll be nice to plug your own product on your own show.
Yeah, when it comes to that time, but I'm glad we could get you guys on to talk about your projects. Like that's what I want to do with my channel is get guys on who are promoting their books and, thank you guys for agreeing. And it's like really exciting to hear about your projects. So
thank you guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you, Ben, as well.
Oh, it's great to meet y'all. I know y'all, I've been paying attention. I see y'all always retweeting me and I appreciate the hell out of it.
No, we expect the best out of Comicsgate, and that's what we're getting. So you were right up there, Ben.
Yeah, we backed you earlier as well. Yeah, it looks great.
Trust me, I was paying attention.
Very helpful. So everybody remembered to back both these books. Tomorrow when they launch. And do you want to bring us out, Anton?
I would love to. Hey, what a great show! Another good one today. Love to give a huge thank you to both of our guests, all 3 of them. Ben Fuselier, you can check him out at YouTube at Fusebox, that's XX, and at Fuselier Ben on Twitter. He's creator of Outlaw Knights, Genesis of a Renegade. Don't forget Michael and Carolyn Anden. Thank you so much for joining us all the way across the pond. Husband and wife team from Double Vision Comics. You can see them at Michael_Anden. That's on Twitter. And at their YouTube channel 0X. Search for it. Hey, I'm Anton Belvedere. On behalf of Rob Cacy, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. And Rob and I want to ask you one question. Who has more fun than we do? We'll see you next time on the Splendopia Hour, live